I would like to invite the next speaker. And ladies and gentlemen, the next speaker is Mr. David Kolář, Executive Director of the Association of Innovative Pharmaceutical Industry. His presentation is titled, How AIFP Works to Deliver Safer, More Effective Treatments for Patients. He will provide insight into how innovative pharmaceutical companies contribute to the development of new therapies through long-term research, investment, and collaboration. Mr. Kolář, please go to the stage and go ahead with your presentation. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the invitation. I'm really pleased to speak in such a great event, and thanks for all the interesting presentations beforehand. Yes, I'm aware I'm the last one before the lunch, so I promised I will be sharp with the timing. So I was asked to focus mainly on the ATMPs, but also to see the clinical trials environment in the Czech Republic and also a little bit with the European perspective. For the beginning, I'm representing Association of Innovative Pharmaceutical Industry, which is a branch of the European Federation FPA in the Czech Republic. And we are associating 34 innovative member companies who are delivering new medicinal products, not only to Czech patients, but also for all the patients in the world. I think we need to speak a little bit about the ATMPs as different animal, because it's a completely new technology comparing what we knew in the past. And the challenges which we are seeing as an industry are not only from the perspective of the clinical trials, but also, of course, from the perspective of the reimbursement schemes, financial stability of each and every system, and also about the organization of the care within the European countries. Why? Because ATMPs in majority focus on smaller populations. The trials are more complex, and also we see longer term uncertainties in the data. Also the value, it can be technologies which are really like revolution. We can, thanks to them, treat the patients. We've been not able to do that in the past. And also there are durable outcomes, but they are like visible in the longer time perspective, which is interconnected with the affordability for the systems. Of course, we are aware, we know that the upfront costs are higher than in different category of the drugs, and this creates the pressure on the annual healthcare budgets of the health insurance companies. Just to share the Czech example, as we know, and hopefully be better soon, the Czech health insurance companies are planning from year to year. So it is almost impossible to show them the real value and benefit of the investment into modern treatment in longer time perspective, because it's not how they works nowadays. I will show you one example later in the presentation. It is not only about the regulatory approvals and the system itself, not only about the money and budget, but also to let the system be ready, organize ourselves as the care is provided, prepare our healthcare providers, improve the capacities to be ready for the ATMPs which are coming in the future. And of course, some of them are already here. I think specifically for ATMPs, and we are trying to promote this idea, it is not only about the clinical trials and all the benefits they are bringing. We should really consider ATMPs as an early access pathway for the patients within our states. Definitely, it can improve it can cut the time to availability for the treatment by 5 to 10 years. Depends, of course, on the specific products. What is good, and I think everybody in this room is aware about, but it's good to promote it from time to time. Clinical trials, it's win-win scheme or situation for all the partners there. Patients can really get to the treatment faster, and it is like significant, 5 to 10 years, from my perspective, really good cut. Hospitals and doctors, of course, they are getting international credit through all the research activities. They are getting experience. They are also getting, of course, investments from the pharmaceutical industry, which is also an important part. State and public budgets are saving the money because the people or the patients within the clinical trials are treated on the cost of the sponsor of the study. And also pharmaceutical industry is getting necessary data to get the regulatory approvals and register the products. So win-win situation for all the partners there. Yeah, I was a little bit missing the picture. Now I see that. Okay. I still think Europe remains strong, and traditionally we are a strong continent for the research and development of the new drugs. But seeing nowadays the global competitiveness, we are definitely losing. And it's not just feeling, it's visible in the data. Just if I'm comparing and I'm using the data from our European Federation, 22% of the global clinical trials run in Europe in 2013, 12% in 2023. It is not about statistics and about the numbers. It's about the number of patients who can really get to the studies. And it is recalculated to 60,000 fewer clinical trials places for European patients. It's even more visible for ATMPs or all the modern technologies. Really, China is pressing a lot. Asia is pressing a lot. And it's visible on the data. 42% share in 2023 compared rising from 10%. And Europe similarly cut this portion as for different clinical trials. I think we are having a little bit of trouble within the Europe, and that's my personal opinion. I'm really optimistic to your opinion. I really think that's a way how to collaborate among states and be competitive in the future. But we are strong in narratives and statements. We are not that strong within the deliveries, yeah? And that's the trouble. Seeing and representing industry. Since 2020, we saw a lot of initiatives. We saw strategy for the Europe from the pharmaceutical perspective. We saw general pharma legislation, a lot of bold objectives and claims, not so pragmatic or effective measures taken afterwards. I think I can share also one particular example. GPL, General Pharma Legislation, the discussion from all the package was, at least in Czech Republic, really cut it to discussion about the regulatory data protection, so the protection of the data coming from the clinical trials. And we've been discussing for 4 years if it is good to cut it from 8 plus 2 years to 6 plus 2 years. After those 4 years, we agreed we will keep 8 plus 2. So 4 years discussion to get the status quo. Status quo is definitely not enough if you are seeing what is happening in Asia. Every second year in our association, we are collecting the data from our companies to see how many studies are really running in the Czech Republic. It's only the data from our members, so not the data which are publicly accessible. And one part of the study is also showing some international comparisons. I think what is not tricky. I think it's not a good message, and it's just confirming what I shared within the previous slides. This is for the first time, and I'm working in association for 11 years. So I see like 6 editions of this survey already. And we can see that for the first time, cumulatively, the numbers of the studies in Asia is bigger than in Europe. So for this time, firstly, I see that we lost the second spot, and it's not that significant, but you can see the significant difference in the percentage of change within the years. To be more positive nowadays, Czech Republic is still in a good spot, and I think it's still a good country for running the clinical trials. During the years, you can see that the number of studies run by AIFP member companies is rising. 486 in the last edition of this survey. Also, the newly initiated studies are a little bit higher than it was in the last years. Of course, pretty strong dominance of oncology. That's probably not surprising for anybody. Pretty strong also phase 3 clinical trials. I think this is maybe only one little bit negative or not so positive message from the study, that we are not having so many phases 1, phases 2 studies in Czech Republic, and we lost few of them from that bucket, which is not that big now. But I think we will be working on that. We got new centers. We'll be trying to attract these kind of studies. So I believe that in the next 2 years, we'll again get into positive trajectory. I think also a good message, and it's also showing us a little bit change of the structure of the studies, is increased number of the patients. We've been saying that the cut, which is there in previous years, it's not because we are not able to get more patients. It's about the studies itself. They are focusing on smaller populations, more focused treatment. Of course, the biggest number of the patients are in cardiology or cardiovascular diseases area. Pretty strong number of the teams in Czech Republic who are part of the studies, over 2,300. It's slightly better than in last years, but I think it's somehow stable. So we see that the infrastructure is quite strong and we can work with that. However, in the European-wide perspective, Czech Republic is mid-sized country. So we need to try to excel in those areas where we can, like digitalization, the startup process, to make it faster, to make it less burden from the administrative perspective, and so on, so on. Majority of the studies our companies are running is managed directly by the companies, not through CRO. The percentage is 77%. And I think what is also a really good message, and I'm happy to share it with the government pretty soon, is that this year we collected the highest amount of investment, over 3 billion coming to hospitals, just like pure investment to the studies, and also over 2.2 billion savings on the alternative treatment cost. Together, the economic perspective or economic impact is over 5 billion Czech crown. I think it's not full potential of Czech Republic. I still think we can improve, and there is definitely the space. We are just collecting or preparing the set of 9 to 10 measures for Ministry of Health, where we think it's like low-hanging fruits, and we can pretty fast improve the environment to get more studies for the future years. I promised you one example about the ATMPs, and it's connected with not only discussion about the regulatory base, but also about the terrain or practical implementation. One of our member companies, I will not share the name, I will not share the product, was running the feasibility study about one of the ATMP product they were ready to run in the clinical trials in the Czech Republic. Legislative was changed, so there was no legal trouble in this one. But the key barrier happened in the pharmacy preparation, because there is not so big capacity, not some specialized isolators. And we saw that they asked 15 sites about their preparedness, and only 2 of them were really prepared to go for that. So we need to also work with the providers to let them be ready, better equipped, and really able to run these studies. What is, I think, good message? The study is running in Czech Republic. So even with this result, it's running. So stay positive in this one. And of course, for ATMPs, the access challenge starts after the approval. Regulatory approval is necessary, but it is not the only obstacle we are having. But ATMPs really require different reimbursement mindset, probably. I think this is the trouble in all the systems, because our systems, from the reimbursement perspective, are really built for bigger population. It was established, for example, the Czech system was established around 2008, and these kind of products were really in early phases of the clinical trials, not so many of them getting to the market. So, and still we see that the system was not somehow modified or changed. So like all the instruments connected to cost effectiveness, all the calculations the drug needs to fulfill are complicated for these kind of products. I think we are having a little bit of advantage comparing the other states, because in 2022 we established and introduced new orphan pathway, which is specially prepared for the orphan products. It was established by Minister Wojciech and his team, which is, I think, super great and visible that it works really nicely. But we need to also think for the future. Yeah, it's not about small changes, but maybe about changes of the mindset, because we know that new products coming will have really trouble to get to the reimbursement. I will not probably repeat this one because I really like Anna's point of view, and I think I can sign all what you said about the preparedness of the systems itself. If Europe would like to come back to positive trajectory, we need to improve and to be really like faster, more predictable, to work with HTA, prepare the systems, also to work with the data. We got the European Health Data Space. It's another opportunity how to improve. Czech Republic is improving, but we've been far behind the other countries. And it is really about being proactive to be able to be competitive with China, US, and attract more studies. Why? Because I think it is like visible that the real availability of these modern treatments for the patients within the Europe are interconnected to the clinical trials. Because normally where the trials are running, then there is the availability of those products for those patients. I think it should be our joint goal. I'm representing industry, but we are having something again special in Czech Republic. We are able to speak together with Ministry, State Institute for Drug Control, with colleagues from the academia, the patients, and also the healthcare providers. So it is about really to build a strong environment and strong dialogue, which is running in Czech Republic. Minister was speaking about the new strategy. So we are working and to improving the environment for clinical trials in the Czech Republic. And I think, and I hope we will be successful in this one. Thank you very much. I was even a little bit faster.